I had a long and substantial meeting with Mr. Akıncı. I will now see Mr. Anastasiadis this afternoon. Needless to say, on two subjects, which is how to come back to the conversations, to meet again, and also what to do when we meet again. These are the two issues we are discussing. I also briefed on some international contacts that I've been having lately, including my visit to Washington, which I think was very, very much lived up to the expectations that despite of many changes going on in the United States, there is a continued commitment also from the US, which we know historically has been important for this process, also with this new administration. The impasse in the talks is not over. Of course, you will understand that I've so far seen one of the leaders and I still have to see the other one, so there's more to say this afternoon when I've seen both. But it's not over. There's still work to be done in order to lay the groundwork for a resumption of meetings, but I think it can be done. And that's basically what I can say about this. I have no particular news to share. There are certain things that are better allowed to develop as they do, but it's not solved. It can be solved, and I think eventually, at the end of the day, they will be solved because I think there's will to overcome them. What is really the essence now is what we do when we're back at the table. And I want to be very strong in stating something I've said many, many times, and I think you all heard it, everyone here and everybody watching this or reading this know. I am determined to keep this a leader-led process. There is absolutely no intention from the UN side to go into arbitration. We've tried that before. We recognized that did not work, and I came in here saying that even if I was asked by the leaders to arbitrate, I wouldn't do it. And there's no problem because I'm not being asked to arbitrate. The discussion we've been having is how they can use their time as effectively as possible. And both leaders, in recent statements, both to me and in the public, have underlined the need for having a methodology that emphasizes the core issues. Anastasiadis said it in interviews, Mr. Akıncı said it in interviews. That's what we're talking about, not some kind of UN plan. There will not be a Guterres plan or an Eide plan or any other UN plan. If there is a settlement in Cyprus, it will be facilitated by the Cypriot leadership, by Mr. Akıncı and Mr. Anastasiadis together. But they know, and we know, and I think everybody recognizes that there is the famous window of opportunity remains open, but it's not remaining open forever. And we've had tomorrow we've had a full month without meetings. That's the longest break until now over these 22 months. The longest period of non-meeting was 9 days, so this one is much longer. And since I think it will take a little bit more time, that's quite a lot of time where we've not been able to move forward. And that, of course, means that we have to be even more effectively using our time once we're back. I also wanted to share that I will participate, so Special Representative Spehar and I will participate tomorrow in a meeting of the Executive Committee at the UN. That's the Secretary General with the whole top leadership, the cabinet of the UN, if you like that word, on video link, because they want a full discussion now on the situation in Cyprus, which is one of two main items, the other one being the situation in the Central African Republic. And that will happen tomorrow, and I think it's important now to have a solid discussions with headquarters on the situation and what will be the future moves. And then next week I will be going to Brussels and talk to the Commission leadership about their very crucial support to this process and give also them a full understanding of the situation we're in, but also discuss some moves in the future. Because as we've been insisting since the first day I've been here, we're looking for a solution in Cyprus, which also is as a full-fledged EU member state, an EU member state, North and South together as a federation, and hence we also need the strong support and commitment from the European institutions. This Monday, we had the visit of the president of the European Investment Bank, who came with very solid ideas on investment and financing in post-settlement situation, and some of these conversations will continue now also with the Commission and Parliament and so on in Brussels. So that's, I think, what I have to say now. We can take a few questions.
There were some reports in the Turkish Cypriot press today about Anastasiadis meeting Mr. Guterres in New York, and that Mr. Guterres wanted to see both leaders, not just Mr. Anastasiadis. Can you confirm, is there any efforts by the UN to set up such a meeting?
What I have been informed that Mr. Anastasiadis is going to New York for other business. There is a large investors conference, and as I understand, I think 3 of his ministers is also going there. So that is the purpose of his visit to New York. And then in the margins of that visit, he has asked for a meeting with the Secretary General. If anything else develops, it will be informed in due time. We're not planning a joint meeting, and if there's any other developments, we will probably announce that from New York.
But how would this contribute to the process when Mr. Guterres sees only one leader and not the other one?
I think that question is probably best asked to his spokesman in New York. But as I said, there's no initiative to have a specific meeting on Cyprus in New York. There is a visit of Anastasiadis to New York for other business, and he has asked to see the Secretary General, and the Secretary General, as I know him for many years, is a person who's easily accessible for people who want to talk to him. So I wouldn't read too much more into that than exactly that. But if there's any further developments, we will announce when they happen.
Are you planning to run in the elections in Norway?
What I have been saying, I mean, there's a rumor that I'm planning to run as Prime Minister. That's definitely not true. I hope everybody understands that I wouldn't be here if I was planning to do that now. What happens in the autumn, let's see. I think my full focus now is on my commitment to help here, and we have a full understanding with the leaders that we have to use this time effectively.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.